Relax, the keyboard is off and the press box is closed, but the mic is just getting warmed up. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Ink, the show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. Join your host, Lance Green, the guardian of the blue paint turned writer, and co-host SteelFlyers, as we bring you all the latest on the Philadelphia Flyers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hockey Writers Ink with your host, Mr. Lance Green.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy to be on. Hope everybody's holiday was great.
You know, good deal, good deal. How was yours?
It was interesting, to say the least. We'll leave it at that. So, eventful.
Eventful for sure, but eventually all things blessed, yeah?
Yeah, everything worked out, so that was good.
Okay, good deal. That's a good deal. So we're hoping that you folks out there had a very Merry Christmas and looking forward to a Happy New Year. And we here at SteelFlyers All Sports Network on the Hockey Writers Ink, Mr. Lance Green and Mr. SteelFlyers here, we are looking forward to a new year as well, too, especially when it comes to the Philadelphia Flyers. And boy, I got to tell you something, folks. We're pretty excited about what's going on with this team right now, I would think. What do you think, Lance?
Yeah, I think they are definitely in a spot where nobody thought they would be. Winning games they thought that nobody thought they would be, rather. And, just exciting team to watch again, even when they're losing a close one, like they did recently with the Kraken. It's just it's exciting game, 60 minutes plus, because this team is, as we said previously, well versed in the art of overtime and in shootouts now. So
getting to be that, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the exciting part as well. So let's dive right into this, folks. Here we are on episode number 151, and we're talking about the Flyers are winning, and that both for this team. And by the way, Lance, gosh, episode 151, holy smokes. All right, hopefully we got another 151 more in us, right? What do you think?
I'll darn sure try.
I mean, at least anyway. But a lot of things to talk about because of what's been going on with the team. The team is, as we kind of said, we felt we're a little bit overachieving, and maybe some of the other teams were underachieving, a la, the New Jersey Devils and the like, of which the Flyers are going to face in an out here in a couple more weeks, which we're excited about that as well too, but the last couple of games, the Flyers have played really well. The fact that we've got a goal tandem in Philadelphia now, and you as a goalie, I mean, the guardian of the blue paint turned writer, right. Okay, you gotta love what's on right now between the pipes in Philadelphia, do you not?
I mean, it's definitely refreshing. I don't think the team has had two goaltenders, as solid as these two, playing on the same team together. And it's really what you need in today's NHL. Really gone are the days that, the Martin Brodeurs, the Ed Belfours, the Patrick Wiles play, 70 games a year.
Yeah.
You need two goaltenders now, especially with how many teams are out there and the traveling and all that. So that's what they have now. Hart has managed to, when he's healthy, he's managed to stay in there and perform pretty well. He's got a 2.54 goals against average right now through 20 games and a .915 save percentage. Definitely better than he's had at this point in his seasons prior. And 9 wins, could be a little better, probably win ratio, but overall has been standing tall in net. And who can't say anything bad? I don't know who can say anything bad about Sam. Big Sam in net there. played 15 games, started 14's, got 9 wins, tied with Hart right now in less games played. So he's got a better win ratio for sure. He's got a better goals against average of 250 to Hart's 254, and his save percentage is over 900 too. So, the Flyers are just winning and standing tall and playing in front of these guys, which is refreshing. And I think that has a lot to do with some of the acquisitions of Danny Briere, bringing in some guys that are defensively responsible, and it bodes well for the team when you actually think about it. You protect the guys that are back there, and lo and behold, they start winning more games. So stop leaving them out high and dry.
Exactly. I want to kind of throw something out here because I want to put an observance out here based off of from last year's team to this year's team. Okay. This year's team seems to be a more fight in the team itself. There seems to be a lot more camaraderie, a lot more togetherness, a lot more fight. I mean, when Cam Atkinson is dropping gloves to stick a guy that gets crocked, that's saying something. Okay, yes. When guys are blocking shots as a badge of honor, that dynamic of this team has changed from last year to this year. I attribute that a lot to Tortorella, the coach.
Sure.
Making it like what we talked about at the very beginning, like his training camps are really hard and tough, right? You might spend a whole day not even touching the puck, just skating or running or, whatever, right? So you bring the guys together that way because that's what they do, Terry, right? You as what you do for a living, you know what I'm saying? You understand kind of what I'm talking about, how you bring guys together, right? You make them fight for a singular goal.
Right. So
they help each other through, some guy might not be hitting you. They kind of help pick him up and come on, man, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. Right? And that's what this team has got now compared to what they didn't have last year.
Well, I think it started...
It did,
that progression last year.
I'm with you.
The team stuck up for themselves a little bit, of course, when Nick came over, of course, and brought a little bit more physicality and was able to stand up and fight for his teammates when those things. But now, like you said, you're seeing that throughout the lineup, where players aren't just out there to gather points for themselves and playing for the name on the back. They're now a cohesive group of individuals that are now stuck together and bonded together and playing for the symbol on the front.
Exactly. Yeah, ding, ding.
And that means something nowadays, again, in Philadelphia and, in this big rink here. So where in the past it hasn't, a lot of guys were just okay with losing and became okay with losing because it was the culture that was
exactly. That's why I wanted to bring up that point, Lance.
Yep. There, you know what I mean? And Tortorella's not going to stand for that. And I don't think Danny Briere is either. And that's why he's brought in the players that he has, and Hathaway and, others that just stand up and really give it their all every shift. And it's getting some of these younger players and even some of the more veteran players, like you said, Cam Atkinson going out there and dropping the gloves for a teammate after 30 play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that is what we've been talking about for so long. And a lot of people had, kind of, knuckle dragging, blah, blah, blah. That's not a part of the game. That's not what we've been talking about for years, guys. This is the style of hockey that we've been talking about. Guys that are, going out there, giving it their all and sticking up for each other. How in the world in past years had, somebody been cross-checked from behind into the boards, with their teeth, hitting the boards and everybody skates away. Nobody did anything.
Yeah.
Nobody did anything. That is your teammate. That is your friend, hopefully. that you go to battle with every single night. 82 games a year, hopefully plus more if you make the playoffs. How can these guys do that? It was a conundrum to me watching these Flyers games of a couple of years past, but I think that is what Tortorella had been saying. This locker room is messed up. It's missing something. And now they seem to be playing together rather than just individuals out there on the ice, and they're finding each other. They're willing themselves to each other to win games. They're sticking in games together. They're not giving up on each other. They're playing 60 minutes of hockey plus some. They may not be the most talented out there.
Clearly.
Clearly with having to play so many games into overtime, into shootouts and all that, but that'll come, right? With these draft picks that we've harvesting. But that is this team in a nutshell, guys. This Tortorella, and kudos to him and getting that big win to go top 10 all time in wins now for coaches, and some even have him up for the Jack Adams Award this year as an early candidate.
He's leading the votes right now.
Yep, and you can't argue too much against that, where he's taken this team that was a band of misfits when he got here, and has turned them in. I mean, the lineup hasn't turned over that much since he's really got here.
Well, it has to some extent.
A lot more youth. It's not like the team has gone out there and picked up 5 or 6 big name free agents to turn the face of this around. He's taken some of the players that were here, and
Okay,
Scott
yeah.
the Couturiers, the Atkinsons, all those guys, and taking those players and mix them in with the Cam Yorks and the Forresters and the Tippett's coming in, the Morgan Frost and the Farabees, gaining them more playing time where past coaches really didn't give those younger players that much playing time, and has built a good nucleus of this, and bringing in Sam Ersson and giving him a shot in that, instead of going out and getting another rental veteran goaltender to pair with Hart. It kind of gives Hart that battle mentality that he's got somebody pushing him now. It's not some veteran that does a decent job, but at the end of the day, Hart knew it was his job. Still, that guy is 35 years old. He's not gonna, gonna take his job from him. He's gonna be done in the end of the season. So, now they got a younger kid that's making him play, and I just like the dynamic of this team, and like you said, that they're playing together, that they're willed to make each other better and stick up for each other. That's what this team has been lacking for so many years prior. And it's just refreshing, Steel, for me to watch these games now. It's exciting to watch these games now, where in years past it wasn't. So
I look forward to watching the tape on this now, because you're seeing things that are coming good. You're seeing things that were a weakness a year ago are now becoming a strength. Do you know what I mean, for this team? And I have to agree with you 100%. And I really think that regardless of what happens to this Flyers team, if they make playoffs or not, I think what John Tortorella has done with this team is worthy of him leading in the Adams voting, as far as I'm concerned. I also really like what we talked about is the dynamic of how this team has changed, where now you've got 2 really good, competent goalies that are now kind of pushing each other, where when one goalie wins and then the next goalie wants to play the next night so that they can win. And you got both goalies with 9 wins, right? At this point in time in the season, the Flyers are stacking up at 43, right? That puts them second how do you argue with that tandem, with what's been going on? And I think a lot of what is also attributing to the success is just like what we talked about, where the team is playing for each other now, where they're wearing those block shots as a badge of honor, where they, are extending games now into the overtimes. Do you know they're playing the full 60 minutes? I tell you that just from last year and the year before that, in the last 3 years, there were so many games that you could see when the team would go down by 1 or 2 goals and they were already like, all right, is the bus leaving yet? Right. Are we sitting at the bar yet? You could already tell that the team was checked out. And that is, look, I'm not trying to say that they're not professionals or anything else like that. I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a clear difference between the team that's now compared to what was there last year, the year before, and the year before, and the last, say, 3 or 4 years down the road. Completely, it's a completely different mindset. And I think that you also saw that not only did they change players that they brought in, because they brought in Poling, they brought in Walker, they brought in Sealer, they brought in, who was the other guy there?
Just a lot of guys, man.
A lot of guys that they brought in. Hathaway, he was the other guy that they brought in. That has all of these guys are making huge contributions to this team right now. Okay, to the point where, man, they got some good lines going together. Okay, there's some good chemistry starting to build here with some of these guys together. Do you know what I mean? And that's exactly what we've been talking about these last couple of years, and you said it already, Lance. That's what this team has lacked, is that cohesiveness, that want to win. Yeah, the Flyers already know that they're going to go into games where they're going to be completely out, talented. They're, Boston's and Tampa Bay's and those teams like that really, have a lot more firepower and other things than what the Flyers do.
Right.
And exactly with what the Flyers are doing right now, man, they're grinding out those games because you need these points now at this time of the year so that you don't have to break your butt come the end of the season, because now, like say, you have to win out 10 games just to make up those 20 points that you could have gotten throughout the season if you would have just won those couple of games. Yeah, even though you're going overtime, but as long as you're finishing. And I think that's what, and when you listen to the press conferences from Tortorella, there might be a loss here and there, but there's still a lot of fight in it. There's still a lot of really good things that you can take from, even though they lost. Okay, what can we learn from this? How can we, improve so that we can be better next game, that kind of thing. So
you know what I kind of like too is the position where it's basically created a new player, taking it back to the old days almost, where you have like a player/coach and a veteran player in Mark Stahl. Now, Mark Stahl has gone behind the scenes, taking a back seat to playing, but he's still important in this locker room. And I think that is why it has helped so many young guys like Egor Zamula, who has previously had the talent to play at this level, but just some way or another didn't comprehend all that he was needing to do to be able to maintain a spot at this level. And you now see him, he's got 7 points so far on the season, but he's a plus 11. And, he's playing and you're getting those Sean Walkers in, of course, as well. But, I really, really like that the way that the Flyers have brought in that veteran guy and like Mark Stahl, that he knows he's at the tail end of his career and he knows he's probably not going to be able to do a ton on the back, end and get a whole lot of playing time. but he's okay with that because he's kind of transitioning in to maybe a new role as a coach or something in the future. But he's doing an excellent job of that. And if you see behind the scenes and all that stuff, he is that guy that is pulling these young guys like Zamula and York aside and talking to them, and even is kind of maybe had a conversation or two with Sanheim, which is talented player and all that, but I think he's a lot more physical than he was. You just see the whole defensive dynamic kind of changed. Everybody has kind of, been, as far as Nick Seeler is a team leading plus 15. He's had a couple of rough spots and all that, but this season, but for what he is, leading the team in plus minus, he's calmed down a little bit. You don't see him taking so many stupid penalties. They're still there at times. But, you know what I mean? He's got to play with that bit of that edge. You know what I mean?
I was just going to say, he's got a bit of a razor to him.
Yeah, but that's okay because you need guys like that in the lineup too. You just need to kind of be able to tune it in, to dial it back when you're ahead in games and all that.
Right, yeah.
That just all encompassing what Tortorella, Keith Jones, and Danny Briere have been able to do in such a short amount of time to kind of mold this team back into what it was years ago.
You know what though, Lance? You know what? I hate to interrupt you here, but I'm kind of gonna go there. I don't want this team what it was, quote unquote.
Right.
I want it to be what it's going to be.
Sure.
Right? Okay? But this team can't keep going back to that horse.
No.
Okay?
And I don't think they are. Maybe I misspoke on that a bit. Like,
okay.
I see that Flyers will to win, and that toughness. That toughness that, we come to know and love. And I think Tortorella spoke on that before, too.
Yes.
He wants to see that come back, where people are hesitant to come play in Philadelphia again because even if they're not the best team out there, they're going to give you a hell of a run for your money. That's what I want to see. But of course, now I think even with some of the draft picks and everything like that, you're seeing a change in the way the Flyers are thinking too, where you're going out on the limb and getting some Russian players. Of course, we have Provorov, but he played over here the whole time, right? In his junior hockey and stuff like that. He was North American guy, played a North American style game. Now you're seeing a lot more picks that are a little out there, a little maybe different than what the Flyers would have picked in the past.
Taking more of a shot, more of a chance.
Taking more of a chance, hopefully grasping at a lot bigger picture and a lot bigger void, and fill some holes that could be drastic if they do come over and play, how they're playing out to be. And, taking some chance on some smaller guys as well in a some of your London Knights players and stuff that we selected, who we're probably going to talk about one of them here soon, but just a different dynamic moving forward. But it's bringing the Flyers to today, mixing that great Flyers of old kind of grit and toughness with kind of today's NHL and somehow mixing that beautifully together to get what today, teams should be, if that makes sense.
It does, and I'm so with you on that, man, because that's exactly this is exactly what we've been talking about for the last 2-3 years, that this team has seriously lacked that will, that want, that fight for other, that just because we might be down a goal or two, that doesn't already heading for the bus. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, these are the kinds of things that we've talked about. Plus, I also think, too, that a lot of the changes that have been made in behind the scenes, where the medical staff has changed, where the physical training staff has changed, where the development coaching staff has changed. They're drafting different players than what they used to draft.
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense? It's like, it's like they're paying attention a little more. I mean, yeah, they're swinging for the fence here a little bit with this Mitchkov thing, and you and I both agreed that if he comes here and plays and lights it up, that this is completely a home run. But man, there's a lot of ifs on this Mitchkov thing, and with him being over there in Russia, and that whole thing just scares the life out of me with the whole thing that went down with Ivan Provorov. By the way, did you see that the IIHF declined the appeal from the Russians and said that no, they violated that it was a true contract that Ivan Fedotov signed with the Flyers to come play for the Flyers, and then signed a contract with the Russian team then as well. So they came back and they denied the appeal. The IIHF. As they should have. Right. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out. But that's why I'm really nervous about the Mitchkov thing. Because here is another play onto the Philadelphia Flyers that is in Russia currently right now that they could very easily go, oh, Mitchkov? Oh, we never heard no Mitchkov. Mitchkov who? What? Come on now. We're all adults here, okay? They suddenly made Fedotov to fulfill his military service suddenly. Okay, right? So suddenly he might have to do something too. That's what I'm worried about.
With his with Mishkov's father and everything like that. If you read,
that's why I'm really nervous.
Some of my articles and stuff like that previously on that as well. But it just this team, getting back to this team here.
Sorry about the tangent, but I did read that the other day. And
yeah.
All right,
that's good. This team amazes me, though, that they can be right now currently in third, almost a point out of second, where they've been for a while in the Metro, and still be last place in the league as far as the power play goes. It just simply amazes me, guys. I don't see it. They've scored. They scored 12.
They did score. Well, wait. No, they did score a power play goal against Vancouver the other night.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, right. One.
Yeah, they've scored 12 all year. Steel when Tampa Bay's got 35 on the season. Their percentage right now is 10%, 10.91%. All right. The Rangers right now are operating almost at 31% effective rate of scoring on a power play, and we're operating on a 10%.
Oh boy,
that doesn't bode well. But it's amazing that this team can stay in games without. I'll
tell you how they are.
Yeah, but there you go.
I'll tell you how they are. I'll tell you how they're staying in games, right? And Jimmy, our good buddy Jim Jackson, who's been a guest on the show, is a friend of ours. He coined it the other night. He called it the power kill, right? The Flyers have more shorthanded goals than they actually, probably not, but they're getting close, right? I think they have almost the same number of shorthanded goals as do power play goals. Like, the Flyers have a better chance of scoring on the penalty kill than they do on the power play, their own power play, right? So Jim Jackson called it the power kill because they scored a shorty. Kay had got his fourth shorty against Vancouver the other night, so he called it the power kill. Yeah, I like it. I mean, the Flyers are what, third or fourth ranked in the league now with the number of shorties they've got?
They definitely got a lot.
They're over 7. I think they're over 7 shorties. I think they have like 9 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up, but I can't.
Yeah, I think that's what I remember seeing. But
yeah,
still, though,
phenomenal on the defensive side, defensively responsible, but can get out there and when you got guys like Owen Tippett and all that can just, get the puck on a stick and go.
and
It's
Joel,
and Farabee, and Farabee as well. He's constantly looking to break, and
put the
it
puck in the
shows.
net. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. And you can see that Tyson is kind of getting like that too. Right. And his time's going to come too. Right. He had a little break out there where he had a couple of goals and everything, and he got some points and he was doing really well, but he just plays the game the right way. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I everybody's like, oh, well, this, that, but the goals are going to come for him because he continues to play the right way. You know what I'm saying? And once that point in time comes for him where the game switches and everything goes down for him, that's when he's going to be dangerous. And that's when I think we're getting closer and closer to that point for him. Do you know what I mean?
I think he just needs. Gosh, he could break out at any time. I really think, like, you see so many shots that are amazing shots on net, and for some reason they hit the post or they, get deflected or something like that. It's just like, man, that should have been a goal. And it's just like, if he gets on a hot streak, he's got 5 right now. There's only 3 guys with double digits goals on the team right now.
I know.
He could easily end this season if he gets on a hot streak inside, the top 3 or 4 guys on the team in goals.
Yeah. We'll take it.
We don't have a ton of players that are scoring the goals. Konechny, Tippett, and Farabee are doing most of the workload for sure in that department. But man, I just would really love to see this kid get going because he's got an NHL caliber shot. He's playing the right way, like you said. He's in the board battles. He's getting in front of the net. He's doing the dirty work. He's doing everything right. Man, I would love to see him get going here. And he's got 14 points on the year. That's pretty darn good, considering it is just his first full season with the team. But you can see that it's there. The talent's there to achieve more, right? He has the talent to be an annual 20-goal scorer for sure.
Easily, I think.
Yeah,
easily. I think.
He has that scoring ability. He had it in juniors. Just needs to kind of find it in the NHL on a more consistent basis. And, as Tippett did, it took him a while, but now look at him. He's rolling.
Oh my gosh. And, that might take like a Cutter Gauthier coming in and pairing up with him. It might take a guy like a Mitchkov or pick somebody.
Right.
It might take another draft pick or another year for him to kind of get, you know what I'm saying? He's close, right? You said this is his first season as a full-time NHL starter, right? That's a big step from where he was last year.
Right.
Okay. So, okay. All day long, I'm liking what he's doing. And I like that he's playing, and I feel that the points and the goals are going to come. He might, one of those types of players that I think he makes everybody else around him better. Mm. And I think he needs to have an upgrade as far as the players that are around him.
I think you're right, and what you said could happen. In Cutter Gauthier, coming over after his season with Boston's done, he could join the club. And speaking of him right now, you guys, if you haven't been watching him at the World Juniors, you darn sure should be.
Should be.
Right? Man, he's on a tear for Team USA. In 4 games, he's got a goal and 7 assists for 8 points. He's operating on a 2-point per game average with +5 right now. He's really going. And, for Boston College as well, he's got 23 points in 17 games there, and he's a +6. So all signs lead to him potentially joining the team, and he could be a center. He could be a wing, depending, for the Flyers, what they feel they need or could use him best at or best utilize him at. He's 6'2", 194 pounds. He's just an exciting player to watch, and so is Team USA. I mean, geez, that roster
team is
loaded.
stacked. Oh my gosh,
team is loaded. That is probably the best Team USA at a World Juniors in a long time, I think.
So they got Leonard. They got
tons of
what, Gabe Perreault. They got
most of Boston College there for sure.
Cutter Gautier's on that team. Snuggerud's on that team.
Nazir, Howard, McGroder, Lane Hudson.
And then you go with goaltenders like St. Augustine, and man, I tell you, you're right. I think the United States team is
Oliver Moore. So many names on that list, and there's a couple of that I highlighted in the article as well recently that we'll touch on maybe in Prospect Watch show soon enough. So
yeah, man. By the way, folks, if you don't get a chance, please go over to the website and check out Lance's latest Prospect Watch articles, man, for sure, SteelFlyers.com. So go check that out. So, but yeah, man, really exciting to see how Cutter is coming into his own. I'm kind of glad that he didn't come in. I'm kind of glad that he decided to stay in college for this year. Do you know what I mean? I think that maybe that was more of a growing thing for him. Do you know, where he was able to find a different part of his game?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think with those incoming players from the National Development Program and stuff coming in, Ryan Leonard's and, all that joining Boston there, Boston College, they're just phenomenal chance at winning a national championship, getting to a Frozen Four, hopefully, and all that.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, and who wouldn't want that experience as far as Gauthier and and the Flyers? I mean, nobody thought they would be competitive this year. So with him not being there, and potentially the team thinking that they were going to be a lottery team again, that could just bode well for the team as well. But garnering another top 10 draft pick, but it doesn't look like that is going to be the case right now this year. So having him come in after, they win potentially national championship, he's going to come in with a lot more knowledge, playing in this World Junior tournament, experience,
yeah.
and winning a national championship potentially, or fighting for one at least at the collegiate level. He's going to be a lot more versed and better suited to join this NHL ranks, and he's only gotten bigger and stronger and faster. So it's going to look darn good, and he's going to be a top 6 player rather than somebody sitting on the third line, at the beginning of the season this year or something like that. So
Exactly.
Much rather see him come in ready to go, and hopefully be that guy for others on this team, like you were talking about, potentially a star caliber player that is only going to make others on this Flyers team better once he does get here. So we don't want to rush him, but we're going to be darn sure excited to see him in black and orange when he does get up here. So
I am, yeah, that's exactly what I think we're talking about here. You know what I mean? And man, I'll tell you what, Lance, we covered a lot of stuff in a short time to get there. You know what I'm saying, right? The one thing I do want to talk about here is, and we touched on it very briefly, is the how Zamula has been playing, and the reason why I want to say that, and you brought it up earlier, with his influence now from Stahl. Do you know what I mean? Where now I think we've seen that take over now finally. Do you know what I mean? Where finally it took Zamula a little bit of time, and I think now he's in that spot now where he's probably not going to come out of the lineup unless there's something that happened.
Right.
I just have that feeling, as long as he stays what he's doing, as long as he keeps on keeping on, I think he's going to stay in the lineup. You know what I mean? And that may spell the end of Stahl as far as playing. He might get a break here and there, because he's done it for Brink. Tortorella has. He's given Brink some off, because this is Brink's first year as a full-time starter as well, too. Do you know what I'm saying? So, unless, like I said, unless something majorly happens, I think you're going to potentially see Zamula stay in the lineup from now on, I think.
Oh, I think so. And at the beginning of this year or into last year, really, I thought it was, and I think I spoke on it before, his make or break year, because they added so many different guys in, as far as bringing in Helge Grans and, drafting so many other different players as well. Zamula had been here for numerous years, and he sat in the Phantoms a lot and came up at times, but didn't overly impress, even though you watched him in drills and stuff at practice or development camps and all that, and he was shutting down some of these star players on the Flyers, but he just couldn't get it all together to sustain a roster spot with the Flyers. And whatever the case may be, hopefully guidance there from, the players, like we said, whatever the case may be, it seems times have changed. He seems to grow his game a little bit. He's an exciting player. He's got size at 6'3", 200 pounds plus. He's 23 years old. So, he's still relatively young, even though he's been playing in the Flyers system for a while. He's still only 23 years old, and he's really getting it as far as being an everyday NHL defenseman now. And, he's showing that. He's got 52 games under his belt as a Flyer now, with 26 being this year. So he looks like he's going to be a mainstay now. He looks like a piece, not just a fill-in player anymore. And, I like his game. He can really offer that long outlet pass to really help out the Tippett's and the Farabees break out and go on some breakaways. He offers some great, things that other guys on the roster don't really offer. He's got a great heads up, game there. And,
solid defenseman.
I really want him to stay in the lineup and continue to learn and gain that experience. Yeah.
Yep, me too. That's why, because I wanted to say, because he's kind of emerged over the last, I'd say, maybe past 4 or 5 games. Yeah. Where we've seen a lot more of the good things of Zamula, and even Tortorella talked about it in his press conferences too, where he's like, he's made some mistakes. Do you know what I mean? And he knows he's made mistakes, sure. But he said that we're working on correcting those mistakes, but we're still going to give him the opportunity to make plays. So I think that having your coach backing you like that, you know what I mean? It kind of gives you, as a player, that has to give you a big boost of confidence, knowing that, okay, yeah, I've made some mistakes, but we're learning from those mistakes. How can we correct them, and how can we be better? And that's what he's doing, and that's why I think that only bodes well for this team as well moving forward. So really liking what he's been doing. So
for sure.
So got anything in the works there, Mr. Green?
As far as the Flyers go, I'm writing down some different stuff. I've been dabbling a little bit, writing some Phillies articles as well. Actually was just working on, before jumping on here, an Eagles article as well. So, putting a little my touch or my thought process on all the teams around Philadelphia these days.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. If you haven't checked out some of his Phillies articles, man, you got to go check them out, because Lance puts that keen mind in, not just, towards the Flyers, but also towards the Phillies, and is quite an avid Phillies guy. So you got to go check out some of those articles as well too. And you can go to SteelFlyers.com and check that out too. So I even posted out one for Steel's Corner. I put out a Steelers article. So yeah, I know that I have with the Flyers stuff, but yeah, check that out anyway. So, well, Lance, why don't you so we can find you or we can get you, my man?
Yeah, sure. You can find all my articles and all our shows at SteelFlyers.com. You can catch me on the app formerly known as Twitter, X, at Lance.Green39, or you can catch me on any Flyers, Phillies forums on Facebook, and read my articles there, or get up with me and tell me what you think of them there. So just appreciate you checking them all out.
For sure, man. By the way, just to let you know, Lance, the last two Phillies articles, 500 views on the two Phillies articles that you put out.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I think more people are starting to catch on to that and visiting the website for that, because formerly it was mostly just Flyers and stuff like that. So
yeah, and we're going to try to have
a little bit, yeah.
Yep. We're going to try to have a spot here for some of the Phillies stuff. We're on some of that, running into some technical things here. So we're going to try to have a spot for the Phillies, and we'll try to have a spot for some other things as well too. Some dedicated sections of the website, or maybe the fans, definitely the Phillies, and of course we'll maintain there for the Flyers and everything too. So be sure to go check that out as well. Also check us out on YouTube, where you can check out the SteelFlyers All Sports Network and get all of the great shows from Prospect Watch to this show right here, Hockey Writers Ink, a Philadelphia Flyers centric. And you can also check out the SteelFlyers podcast as well too on that. And man, we'd really appreciate that. And big thanks to Spreaker for all of your help in getting us to all the podcasting platforms, where all you have to do is go to your favorite one, from Spotify to iHeart to Apple, type in Hockey Writers Ink, give us the 5-star rating, and then check us out. We'd really appreciate that. You can find me on the app formerly known as Twitter at SteelFlyers50, or you can find me anywhere out there on the forums, like Lance said, in Facebook, or you can check us out on the web at SteelFlyers.com. Thank you very much for checking out this episode of the Writers Ink. We see you all on the next one. See you later, folks.